Hey guys, alright, here we go. So I got the pan off. Obviously that was easy. Again, we had to loosen this exhaust up to get that out of the way. I got the wiring harness off. It's not too bad. A couple of those little clips are just a little bit tricky, so you gotta be careful popping those off. Remember where your little brackets go for your wire harnesses and things like that. There's your 3-pressure switch. Mine's on the high pressure setting. Comes on the medium setting in the middle. So mine's adjusted for higher pressure. So mine's adjusted for the high pressure. Okay, so a couple things. What I did is, you can see I put the long bolt in the short bolt spot to kind of hold it as I let it down, so I can catch these parts that are coming off. Okay, you can see this. Those are your accumulators there. I don't know if you can see these, but there's these springs in here. Whoops. These are your springs in there. Can't really see it good. Can we see it now? There we go. Barely see it, but those are your accumulators up there. And they're staying up there. One of them is dropping down. Okay? So I'm kind of doing this so I can see what's going on. This is my, can you see it? No. But right up here is your check valve. There's a check valve up here, a spring with the check valve right here that pops out. You have to be careful with that. And then these accumulators on the side. Luckily they're on the side of the exhaust, so that's convenient. It's not convenient. So that's where we're at. This is the pop the valve body down part. And again, like everything dripped down, so when I pull it apart, I can kind of ease it over and get those accumulators out so I can line them up. And the accumulators only go in one way, but they're springs. You don't want to intermix your springs or you're going to be in trouble. Okay? So you want to keep your springs lined up. Don't lose your check ball. Those are really the only things. And when you reassemble it, you got to do it with that grease. And that's it for this part. Hey guys, alright, so we got it torn apart. We got the valve body off. These are your top gaskets, okay? These are the parts that are hard to find. You can see 2 of them drop down, and 1 of them stayed up there, so you have to be careful not to lose those. Your, where is that? Your check valve goes in this square hole. The square hole right here, that's where your check ball goes. And then these are where your accumulator pistons go. Now if you look at that, can you see that? How fine that is? And how fine and smooth the surface is? This is why you have to run high quality fluids. Okay, it's hard to explain to people. The car people aren't too bad, but the truck people think you never have to change your oil. You can go on my Tacoma site, they'd say, you could run your oil 10,000 miles. Yeah, if you want this to all get fucked up, I'm sorry, if you want this to all to get messed up, then do that, okay? But that you want to keep your fluid clean and proper, because all this stuff is fitted too tight and too fine of tolerances. If you run dirty fluid, that's going to wear out. You run clean fluid, this car lasts, these parts are designed to last 200,000 miles with these Toyotas. They'll run forever, but you got to keep clean, fresh fluid and everything. Alright, so that's down. Here's the valve body. You can see those are the 2 gaskets on top. Okay, they stayed with it. Alright, there's an accumulator. And here's my accumulators. And that's your check valve right there. I don't know if this light's helping or hurting. That's your check valve. And there's your accumulators. Valve body's down. Even look at that, all the wear on that. This one's flipped over, but the one I'm replacing with this is a brand new part, so this is perfectly smooth. You can see those wear marks on there. Oh man, it's just dirt. Ugh, that's just grime. And look how clean my fluid is, and that's grimy. Look at that. See what I'm talking about? And I probably have the cleanest transmission out here. That's dirt. Look at that. Yuck. And then what happens is that dirt and grime is inside your valve body, and that can prohibit proper shifting, okay? When your valve bodies get old, You're not changing the filter. You're not changing your fluid. That grime builds up. You can't see it. It looks fine, but it's not. Okay, all that fine particle is in everything, and then it doesn't shift properly. And now you're doing performance mods, and it throws everything off. Okay, that's probably one of the reasons why I went with the new Vavlebody. Because once I started learning up on this stuff, I'm like, yeah, there's too much. I don't know enough about these transmissions to like pull it all apart and rebuild it. I probably could have, but to save time and then plus to properly get a properly valved, like they know this works. Okay, I don't have to experiment. I can put it in and it should work properly the way it is. Okay, plus I'm getting a brand new valve body. Now the only thing that's old is my clutch packs. Okay, that's half the transmission. The shifting part is going to be all new. The clutch pack is my old stuff. I've got 60,000 miles on it. I've did a fluid change and 1 or 2 refreshes. So for a used FRS, my transmission is probably in one of the best conditions. So it should be okay. So that's where we're at. Valve body's down. Accumulators are out. I didn't mix up any springs, so we're safe. And I'm going to put it back together. Okay guys, here we go. Alright, so we're put the new valve bodies in, the new filters in, the wiring harness is on. The wiring harness is pretty much directional. It's pretty hard to mess up, and some of them are color coded. You have to remember to get your transmission selector on there. This little rod, look, that little rod in that little detent. That's about it. You have some things like some wire loom holders. There's a couple of those, so you have to remember where those go. But it's actually pretty easy. What is this? This is taking me, I think overall it's going to take me about 5 hours. And I was going slow and being detailed. I didn't really find, I did mess with my accumulators a little bit. I didn't show you that in the video. But one of them was two of them were a little saggy. So I shimmed those up. And I think the one that popped out was probably 4th gear, because that fell right out. That spring was a lot stiffer. So it seemed like the 4th gear spring was stiff, and then the other ones are a little soft. So we gave those a little boost. And other than that, that's it. Valve body's in. And we're going to, overall, thing is used about 4 quarts. 3 quarts were in the pan, and 1 quart was in the valve body. Taking that off, so we're going to add at least 4 quarts, and then you start it up, warm it up, drain off the excess, and that's it. Alright, I want to do one more video. Here's the pan. Mine's all cleaned up. It was really actually not that dirty on the bottom. Here's the rag from the pan, not that dirty at all. These 3 little indents are for your magnets going there. They're right there. This is the grime that was on the magnets. So the magnets were pretty grimy, but considering 64,000 miles, doesn't look bad. I'm telling you, high quality fluids in your car make a world of difference. Here's your, when you check it, when you heat it up, this is your level. Okay, so basically you just take that bolt out and let the excess fluid run out and plug it back up. Okay, you don't have to let it drip dry 100%. It'll run really fast, and as soon as it starts slowing down, screw it back on. This is your drain plug. This I don't like. That's not even at the bottom of the pan. So there's always going to be probably a half a quart that you can't get out of the transmission. That is odd. I don't really like it. But I guess it's not a non-serviceable transmission, so that's what they think. But I don't like that. Okay, but nothing we can do about it. But yeah, these Toyotas hold it up. Super high quality. There's not much grit in there at all. I think my truck had more, but I was towing and everything with the truck. Of course, I haven't had my pan off, but it seems like transmission fluid gets dirty in there. But I'm harder on that. Off-roading is probably a little harder on it than towing. Okay. Now we're I got the pan on, and I'm ready to put the fluid in. And again, when you do your transmission, it's easiest to measure how much comes out. I know almost 4 quarts come out, but with these transmissions, you overfill it and then drain off the excess. So I know I'm putting in 4 quarts. I'm mixing the D6 50/50 with the D4. Okay, so 2 quarts of 6, 2 quarts of 4. And what I'll do is I'll measure them out, and then this is the pump I use, and then you just pump in. I usually will do it like 2 quarts at a time. Okay, I'll fill up the pitcher, pump it in, fill up the pitcher, pump it in, and then you get to start the car up, let it warm up, and then just drain off the excess. Okay, so that's the transmission pump and fluid. You can see this. Hold on, Bubs. And then that is your, whoops, that is your fill plug up here, this one. Okay, there's just a plug on it like this. You take that off, pump in 4 quarts of fluid, put this cap back on. Then you're going to start it up, run the car. I'm going to run the temperature off the pan. I'm going to think around 105 to 110 degrees. Once this gets over 100 degrees, then I'll pull the plug, drain off the excess, put the plug back on, and that's it. That's all you do. It's really that simple. Just put the fluid in, let it warm up, pull the plug, let the excess drain off, put it back on, call it a day. And it's as easy as that. Yep, and I got the pan back on, I've got my exhaust back on. So basically I just have to add the fluid and put my shields back on. I do have to change my engine oil, and then take it for a test drive. And then again, someone asked, I do have the better motor mounts in there. You can't see it good, but again, you can see my ceramic header. You can see my ceramic exhaust. I have a better trans mount. You probably can't really see this. No, this is being blacked. I have an upgraded transmission mount, which just basically replaces this whole thing. You can just get that bushing, but you do the good motor mounts, you should probably, these mounts should probably match. So I got the same brand. I think I got the Megans for all 3. Whatever brand you're getting for the engine mount, I would recommend for the trans mount, so they're the same firmness and you're not getting any weird twisting or vibrations. Ceramic exhaust. And there's my aluminum drive shaft from the drive shaft shop. Alright. Front sway bar. And buddy clubs. Alright. That's a little underview. That steering rack is dirty. Alright, there we go. Alright, so yeah, we're going to add the fluid and start it up and go from there. Alright guys, here's the moment of truth. We got our 4 quarts of fluid in. We've drained out 4 quarts. We replaced, 4 quarts. I may have to add a touch more, but should be pretty close. This is always the moment of truth. This is always scary when you do a mod. If everything works right, let's find out. Nice cold start that time. It's loud. My exhaust isn't really that crazy. I have a high performance cat in a big muffler, but it is what it is. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to let it warm up, check the fluid level, and hopefully she runs good.